Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, yes. Hello, hello. I am just checking. I am doing it in the right spot. Should be an expert by now, right? Day 4. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yes. Yes. Okay, we're doing it. Yes. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I don't know why I'm singing that today. A little bit cray-cray. There's a lot of purple going on today for some reason. No, not the purple violet ray. We're not talking about that today. But today we are talking about time, discernment, psychic attacks, tech protection. Are you doing it right? And matching our vibrational frequencies to get what we want. So it's a lot to cover. I'm going to dive straight in and hopefully we will get it all in within this hour. So let's start with time. There's a great analogy that I use, and I did not make this analogy up. I heard it from someone else, and don't ask me where or how, but it could have even been TikTok. He was describing how time is like a record. I may have mentioned this already, but if you can imagine a record, and you know a record has all those little grooves, that record, that existence of the record holds all the music that you listen to, right? So whatever songs are on that record, yes, we don't have records anymore, but hopefully you all know what a record is. That already contains all the music that is listed on the album cover. When we play that record, there is a needle that sits in certain grooves to allow whatever song it is you want to listen to at that time. This is how I see time. This is how I see where we are. Our existence, our life, our past, present, and future, everything is this record. So everything that exists or has existed or will exist is this record. And where we are right now, where I am speaking to you right now, is wherever that needle is. So we have that capability and understanding of knowing that whatever we want to be, whatever we want to have, is already out there somewhere. It's just our needle's not on it yet. So it doesn't mean that it's not available to us. It doesn't mean that we can't achieve it. It just means it's somewhere on that record and we just have to find our way to it. So we need to get that needle over to that place, wherever that thing is, where that life is, where that moment is, whatever it is, we need to get to that moment with that needle. Sometimes it can be just jumping over a groove, like skipping to a next song. Sometimes it can be all the way in the other edge of that record. We might have to move through all of it to get through all the rest of the stuff that's on the record so that we can get to that point that's on the outskirts of where we need to be. So it's all a matter of knowing that it's already there. It's just we have to find a way to get there. And whilst I'm even just using the record analogy, it's the way that I see it now is similar to that record, but it's more of seeing the strands of it all. So we're seeing it as an energetic frequency, so that it's still the same concept where everything still exists out there. Whatever we want to achieve, whatever we want to gain, we just have to find our way through there. Like yesterday I was talking through walking through those soft flowy vines, and it, you know, sometimes it's going to be really easy because whatever we want is really close and we just need to find the right path to get there. There could be many different paths to get there. We could go this way, we could go this way, we could still get to where we want. Or sometimes what we want may be all the way over there, and we can get there, but we have to get through a few things first. So to me that would represent not learning lessons, but moving through emotions or situations or beliefs or stories or codings that you're holding on to that aren't serving you. So if you wanted $10,000 weeks, right? You wanted to earn $10,000 a week, and it was over here. You can't see my hand, the screen is not big enough. If you wanted it and it's over here, and you're here, and you're like, I can see it, I can see those $10,000 weeks, but in the way is a couple of those money beliefs that you're still holding on to, where you believe that it's really not possible to make $10,000 a week. Like, who makes $10,000 a week? Or you could be holding on to, oh my goodness, that is so greedy. Why do you want $10,000 a week? That's like way too much. Or whatever beliefs or whatever stories you're holding on to, that's that condensed vine or strands, however you want to look at that, is blocking you. So it's there, it's available. You just need to get through it. And no, you can't go around those beliefs and find another way, because even if you think, oh, I'm not going to deal with that, but I'm going to go over here and try and see if I can work my way around it, you're going to come up and you're going to find something else over in another spot that's going to make those beliefs that back there seem pretty reasonable to look at are now going to be something that's like, oh my god, that's like even worse. Like, why have you given me this situation? Why have you made me relive this moment? Why am I dealing with this right now? So either way, you're still going to have to work through these things, whether you do it now when it comes up along your path, or whether you go along and you're going to hit something else which is still going to make you go back and work on whatever that thing is that you need to work on to get to it. And I'll just jump straight onto matching the vibrational frequencies while we're talking about this, because this is going to link in really well. Like, even though we're talking about time, it's that understanding of being in that 3D world is where we see time in a linear concept. So we see it as going from A to B. We see it as a line. We see our past behind us. We see our future in front of us. Whereas if we looked at it from that 5D perspective, we're going to see time existing like this. We are going to see that it all exists at once at the same time, and it's just a matter of us being able to access those different moments as we sort of call them in, and as we are able to remove anything that's in the way from us being able to achieve them. So I love that record analogy, because I find that it really helps to give it a picture. It really gives it that basic understanding to really understand it, because I know when I first heard about time and I heard people say, oh, the past, present and future all exist at once, and you're like, I can't believe it, but I don't believe it. I can't make my brain make sense of it. But when I heard listening to that record analogy, it just made perfect sense. So when we do look at it all though as this all-encompassing everything all at once, the only moment that is only going to ever matter is right now. And you may hear people speak about that. There's people who, you know, there's literally a book from Eckhart Tolle, which is The Power of Now, which brought up that whole concept of the only moment we ever have is right now, and living in this now moment is all we have. And you know, when we're looking at everything around us and we're looking backwards or we're looking forwards or we're looking around, none of it really matters, because it doesn't exist. The only part that actually exists is this moment that we're living in right now. And if we use those right now moments, even though we may want to get over here somewhere or over there somewhere, when we get to that moment, as we work through whatever it is we need to work through to get there, when we get there, it's still not in the future, it's still going to become our now moment. So if we treat our right now as in already being over there, that's going to draw it quicker to us. And this is part of the whole basic manifestation rules, is matching the vibrational frequency of what it is that you are trying to desire by becoming, living, feeling, breathing what it is that you want in this moment right now. Now, that sentence might make no sense, but the more we say it, the more we feel it, the more we do it, it makes so much more sense. So if we go back to that example that I just spoke about of where we want our $10,000 over here, what does that person, what does that Anna with $10,000 a week look like? So you would look at that and think, what am I doing to earn $10,000? And obviously if you're having any blocks and you're thinking, oh, I've got to work hard, I've got to do this, no, we need to get rid of them first. Then it's, okay, what does it feel like to have $10,000? What would I be doing with $10,000? How would I be spending $10,000? How would I be acting with $10,000 a week? Would I still be dressing the same? Would I still be having the same outings? Would I drive the same car? Would I have the same friends? So it's really trying to feel into whatever that thing is that you're trying to achieve, which is, it already exists out there, and we just want to bring it closer. We want to get ourselves closer to that thing. We need to match that vibration, and to match it, we have to feel like we are already over there, being, living, breathing, holding, doing whatever it is of that actual thing that we want. And then it's going to bring us closer. Like I was saying, when situations come up collectively and it's over here and everyone's like, oh, what's going on? And all these people start attracting, whether it's negative or positive, it's going to be the same with the things that you're trying to attract into your life. Because if you are acting, being, feeling, and doing all those things to get what you want, guess what? This is the thing that you wanted. You are getting closer to it, and you are going to attract to it, or that's going to attract to you. Whichever way you want to look at it, it's bringing those two together. So that's what I mean when we're talking about matching the vibrational frequencies. Wow, I nearly stuffed those little words up there. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about that, because don't believe that you can't achieve anything. It's anything that, if you want $10,000 a week, you can have $10,000 a week. Yes, it may not take 5 minutes to get there. It could take you 5 years. It could take you 5 lifetimes. But if that's something that you really want and you are living in that moment, every now moment, which is right now, and believing and knowing that you already have those $10,000 weeks, it's only a matter of time until it actually becomes your reality in your right now. But it's being able to live in that feeling and that knowing of what you want as already having now. And I hope that makes some sense, but it's really just the key to it all. And once you start feeling into it and knowing it, and I guess as a human, I know I need this as well. It's, well, I need proof first. So if it was new to you and something that you were trying, you could, try it with something easy and simple, like the old, when you're going to the shopping centre and you can go, okay, I'm going to get a car park right up the front. Just simple things like that, until you start saying, hang on a minute, I just did that because I knew I was going to get a park up the front. And look, everyone else is driving around looking for parks, waiting for people to leave. Yet I've just driven in, someone's just left, and I've just plopped straight into the best car parking spot. So once you can do little things like that, your brain's going to have that belief. It's going to get more on board with what you are trying to do, what you are trying to manifest, and it's going to, excuse me, really help you get into those right vibrational frequencies to get you to exactly what you want. But there is an element of where we do need to clear out some of that path to get to those things. But feeling into it, knowing you have it, feeling you have it, being the person that you will be when you're in that thing that you have, will just bring it closer. And practice with doing some of those things and see what you can bring in. Like, I think it will be easier if you do start a little bit easier or a little bit lower than, like, if I wanted to create that I was the, President of the United States. Like, that's it's pretty far off. It's a pretty hard feat, but not impossible. Nothing's impossible. But try doing some of those smaller things first to sort of really get you sort of keen to do more, because once you get those first little bits of proof, it's like, yes, now I'm off. Now I'm going to do everything. And maybe just focus on one at first, and then you can have like millions out there. You can have you know, your relationship, what type of relationship, or new partner, or whatever you want to call in, or you know, what health do you want, what kind of body, what kind of feelings do you want to have, you know, money, jobs, house, whatever you want. You'll be able to create this whole world of everything that you want, and you'll be able to feel into it. And when you have all these projections out there, making sure they're the right ones from you, and don't worry, they can change, and feeling into them, you will start bringing them all in closer to you. And that is time and vibrational frequencies, and using those frequencies across the aspect of this time as a concept of the past, present, and future all at once, really coming together and working as one. And when we can start viewing things like that, it honestly does make your life a lot different, a lot easier, a lot more optimistic, because you can see the possibilities are endless, and you know that you can get to those moments, or those points in time where you can achieve whatever you want. Next, we'll talk about discernment. Now, you'll hear a lot of people speak about discernment, and you know, really being able to tune into that. And I see discernment as our own bullshit meter, our own knowings. And if you marry that with our truth testing or our energy testing, it's really taking on board whatever is coming into you, onto you, around you, into your knowing, into your space, and really sort of determining, is it something that is true for you? Is it something that feels right? Is it something that doesn't feel clouded with judgment? It doesn't feel distorted in any way, or cloudy, or not clear. And there's no well, for me, I know there was no real, here's discernment, this is how you learn discernment. It's real a trial and error situation where you just work through those things that come into you all the time, and really try and, you know, it's like recycling. You know, pretend you're a recycling bin and all this stuff's coming in, and you're like, yep, oh, nope, yep, nope, ooh, that one's borderline. Like when you have a pizza box and you're like, is that recyclable, but it's still got food in it? And you're not sure. So it's like that. It's really sort of tracking into it, see what's coming in, see what you need to look at, see how we can pass these little bits over, or put these ones over here, or if they are sort of unsure, what would you do if you're unsure about which way, you know, some item gets recycled? You'd find out some more information, wouldn't you? So, and for me, that would be the support that you have around you and the people that you have around you, because if you are in containers that can hold you and support you, that's where you're going to find the answers that you need when you are having those cloudy or judgment moments. So there's a real tool to having that awareness of what's going on, and we're not going to get it all right. I know it was only like a couple of months ago for me where I was clearly on this whole new trajectory, which was extremely distorted, and it was only because I was feeling so far off from my normal self that I did reach out in a group, and people were able to not tell me what to do or how to do it. It was more giving me the questions to ask myself, so that I could really sort of look at what was happening and step in and feel and use my own truth testings and understandings to see if it was distorted or if it was something that, you know, wasn't 100% true or 100% felt right. So using discernment is your key to making sure that everything that you are receiving is going to be the right thing for you. So having the awareness, having the skills of being able to find your yeses and nos, knowing that there is possibilities of distortion out there, and really sort of checking into yourself, because I found, even with myself, even though I have all these, you know, amazing tools and support around, it was hard for me to even use some of my truth testing skills because they were coming up distorted as well. So I do use a pendulum as well, and that was even not giving me the answers that I needed to look at because I didn't know how to ask the right questions, if that makes sense. So there was a real sort of there was a real fine line between, and you'll have to, I apologize for this, there's a lot of allergy things around, something's around, that's why my nose is going off, it's crazy today. Energies, eh? Your body reacts in different ways to different energies, but it's really important just to really feel into things. And even when some really big ideas or information or things like that come in and you're like, I don't know about that, and like even one of the things I'll talk about it now anyway, it's like when you start on your spiritual journey, it's that releasing and receiving that I find is how it's all working. And even though we spoke about the pen and the good and the bad and how it is still just a pen, and we can see the ebb and flows of the two different ends of the stick, but we look at it as a total, as a whole. It's really interesting when we start this process and we start releasing these emotions and coding and unplugging from these grids and really doing our truth testing and finding our own truths and getting into who we really are. We start opening up our channels and our understandings more to the soul self of who we are. And by that I mean that because we are soul beings, and our soul, and like we spoke on the first day, the whole rest of the universe is 5D and above, which means we are a different type of being than this human 3D emotional being that we are down here. They have a different skill set or different ways that they do things or know things or work through things. And part of the process of us when we are releasing these emotions and we're releasing all these 3D human feelings is we start to gain more of those soul skills, if you like. So, and I'm talking about a really roundabout way, which I don't know what the right words are to put on what happens. So for me, it's like you get, so I don't like these words that we have. So it's like these skills or these techniques or powers. They're not the right words. So it would be like, okay, let's just say we're bringing in psychic skills. So just say you're a normal everyday person, la-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da, no psychic skills, blah, blah, blah. You start doing all this healing work. You start releasing all these emotions, all these feelings you had from, you know, when you were a small child, when your mummy didn't love you, when, you know, dad was mean, when your boyfriend dumped you, whatever it is, you start releasing all that and all those feelings. You lose attachment, you unplug from the grid of doing what everyone needs to do, and then suddenly you're like, I'm getting these visions of the future. I can look at people and I can see what's going to happen for them shortly, or oh my goodness, I can feel the spirit of, you know, my grandmother coming in. She was talking to me last night, and it's all these type of skills that were thought of as woo, or only certain people did them, or scary because ooh, ghosts and bad spirits, they do exist. But because we have this persona around it, it's like, no, that can't be right. I'm not psychic. Only those ladies that have got those crystal balls and stuff are psychic. Or I'm not a medium. I'm not talking to dead people. Isn't it that famous guy on TV? Doesn't he do that? I'm not doing that. Like, I don't have that skill. I've never done that before. But this is what happens as we start removing those layers. All this stuff comes in that we already are plugged into grids about, that we already have formed opinions about. So we start doubting everything that's coming in. We start doubting these knowings or these feelings, understandings, or powers that we suddenly have. And it's like, that's not right. And if you are still surrounded and you still hang around with people who are very much in the dark about these type of things, you may not have that support around you to say, hey, this really weird thing happened. I swear my grandmother was standing next to me last night, or something. Or I swear I could see that lady walking past me. I could see, you know, her future. Or I can literally see color around this person. Like, I can see an aura, or, you know, whatever it is. It's all these new and weird things which start coming in, but you don't have that support to ask questions. You don't have the belief or knowing that they're true, because no one's ever taught you. No one's ever told you. The only things you know about it is what you've either seen on TV, what you grew up with, what your beliefs were. So you question everything. And then because it seems so far-fetched and not real, you're like, I'm going crazy. Like, this makes no sense. That is ridiculous. And I'll tell you one moment for me that I felt super crazy. I went for a walk in, we have a little bush down the road, and I went for a walk in the bush. And for some reason, there was this tree calling to me, and I don't know, I was hugging a tree. You know, you hear, oh, hug a tree, oh, you're a greenie, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, no, hugging a tree is awesome, do it. Hugging a tree, I was talking to the tree. Yes, I can say these sentences now. I wouldn't have a year ago. It would have sounded like a Fruit Loop. Or what I thought was a Fruit Loop. It's not a Fruit Loop. This is natural. This is us naturally connecting to everything energetic that's around us. But anyway, after hugging that tree, having a bit of a discussion, releasing things, blah, 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 learning stuff about the tree, as I was walking, I felt this nudge to, ooh, touch that tree as I was walking. And I did. So I had my hand around the tree, and what I got was, it was like a human face, but it was representing the personality of that tree. So, for instance, I think the first one I got was like, there was a show on TV, and it was JJ or something, bless his house, and it was you know, like this cool sort of attitude, and that's what that face represented. Like, oh my god, that was so weird. What just happened? And I was like, I'm gonna do that again. And I went and touched another tree, like, and I could see like this old lady, and it was, you could get these feelings and knowings of the personality of that tree. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? This makes no sense. And then I went up to another one. Oh my god, I can see that face. Oh my god, these ones are little. Oh my god, these three are related. And it was so far-fetched in my mind that was a possibility. I've never heard anyone ever speak about that, and I do surround myself with a lot of spiritual people. It's like, no, this makes no sense. I am losing my God-loving mind. So it's when those things come in and you're like, that doesn't make sense, because we haven't seen it. We don't have that proof that a poor little human wants. So we dust it off as not being true. And even though I was so excited and I could really feel and I really knew that what I was doing was right, there was still that part of me that's saying, you're a freaking idiot. No, that is so stupid. And I sort of blocked it off for a bit because I was like, no, because like, no, you're making this shit up. And it's those things that happen when we start releasing our emotions and our codings and things. These weird things start coming in, and they're not weird things. They are 100% real, and we all pull in our own special skills, our own special techniques, our own special knowings, and we need to embrace them and hold on to them and tune into them and really try to learn more about them if we can. But it's getting to that point where we feel that it's okay, that we feel, yes, I'm not crazy, I'm not making this crap up, this is not me becoming a Fruit Loop, it's real and it is happening. And so many more things since then that do not make logical sense, that, you know, sometimes I write about them on posts, and, you know, because you still have, you know, people just say on your social media that are, you know, in your family groups or school friend groups or whatever it is, who isn't in your spiritual world, and you're saying all these weird things, and you know they're like, oh. And I get it, I understand it. It's because you don't have the knowledge of it. If you don't see it, it looks weird. Or if you have that coding or belief, or you're plugged into that grid thinking that if you speak to dead people, well, then you're a weirdo. Or, you know, if you're psychic, well, you must be a witch who sits with a crystal ball. It's all these projections placed on this, and there's so many things we can do, and not everyone's going to pull in the same things. I do believe that we are all capable of having some sort of our own intuitions, some sort of our own knowings and understandings that we are going to bring in once we start clearing out a lot of that crap. And it's going to look different for everyone. But my advice, and this is the part that we all need to get, is you're not going crazy. You are not stupid. You are not hearing things. You are not seeing things. You are not knowing things. It is all real. Like, you think about, like, when you get on this journey, like, I don't know how many times Johnny has go, what was that? What was that? You will see it. You will feel it. You will know it. You will say things and people go, how did you know that? Just knew it. How? I don't know. It just came out. You'll really be able to tune into your own soul frequency, your own energetic being, where we are all connected, and you will start knowing and pulling in all these things, and every bit of it is 100% real. And the part that really got me off my path for a little bit there was some of these groups that I was in, because they are pulling in their own skills and their own talents, and I use these words lightly. They were projecting the way that they were doing it, or the way that they were bringing it in or bringing it out, as the only way to do it. So if they were saying, okay, well, you need to, you know, you need to say this prayer, then you need to pull this in, then you need to see it like this, and then you need to give it out. And it's like, but I can't do that. I can't. And I found that with a lot of different things and a lot of the groups that I was in, the way that they were showing me or telling me how to do things felt uncomfortable. I couldn't do it. And then what happens when you can't do it? When you're trying to learn this new skill, something that it's not as widely spoken about or taught about or supported, when you're trying to do that new thing or understand that new thing or really embrace it more, and you've been told that it's not right, or you're not really doing it properly, what's it going to do? I guess I can't do it then. Right? It's going to knock you off that perch. It's going to lose that tiny bit of confidence that you were trying to build up, because because of this brand new concept that was coming in, it was hard enough as it was to try and accept that it was something new, to accept that it was something real and something that was actually happening and that you could really bring in or do or portray. But then someone says you're not doing it properly, and because we still have a bit of that coding behind us of not trusting ourselves, we fall back down and we lose sight of that, and then we don't want to do it again. And then stuff still happens, because when you're connected to your soul, you don't always control everything that's happening. New things will come in, you're like, but no, I've got no one to ask about it, I've got nowhere to practice it, I can't talk to anyone about it, no one understands, none of my friends are going through this, so I'm just going to ignore it. And it's really sad. We're just turning off these taps to this amazing skills, techniques, tools, whatever you want to do with them. And it's not like you have to bring them all in and then you have to share them with the world. I mean, they can be things that you just use for yourself. They can be tools and techniques that can get you through that part, to get you from here to here, so that you can achieve your things. Like for me, one of the things, we'll be talking about light language tomorrow, it's when I brought in my light language. Like now I can use that for so many things. I use it for health purposes. I'm using it to clear up density and energies and bring things closer to me. So you can use these skills for your own benefit. They're not something that you need to go, oh, I'm out in public and I have to tell everyone I'm a psychic and I can see your futures and I'm talking to your guides over here. And it's not like that. It's something that is up to each individual. We will all bring in different things at different times, in different ways. We will see things differently. Our intuition will come in differently. It will speak differently to everyone. But I think we really need to just open our minds to the possibilities that we are capable of doing all these things, and that it's not going to look like everyone else, and that it is going to be different for everyone. So if you are looking for more guidance and support in that area and not knowing what things you're bringing in, I do really invite you to still listen to other people and listen how they teach things or how they get you to practice things as well, and see if it resonates with you. Obviously you don't have to follow what they're doing, because you know, I'm one of those people who did sign up and learn, oh, okay, how do I do mediumship? Okay, I'm going to learn it over here, I'm going to learn it over here, and then I'm going to learn it over here. And then you'll get 3 different ways, and then some of it you go, okay, I like that bit, I don't like the rest, not interested. Okay, what's this one doing? Okay, yep, no, I hate that, don't like that. And then this last one, you're like, well, I'm going to use the bit from the first one that I did, but I like the rest of this one, I'm going to add this on, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm going to practice. And you just do it like that. So get in all that knowledge, use your discernment, use your awareness, find your yeses and nos, and practice. Try different things, try different techniques. That's my whole idea, and the whole reason why I'm really pushing this sort of spirituality now and doing it in my way, with my opinion and my ideas, because I was someone who was enrolled with so many other people, and I follow so many mentors, and I watch all these other people and they struggle trying to be like this person. We need to know that it's okay that we're not going to follow that person, that we're not going to follow the way that you do it, we're not going to receive it the way that you do. We are all totally unique, and we are all individually going to have our own skills, our own methods, our own sort of ways of doing things. But the biggest thing I would like for everyone to understand is that you're always doing it right. And even if you may be a little rough around the edges at the beginning. Like, I still think I am deeply rough around the edges, because I think it's like with anything where you do need to practice, and I'm not a very good practicer learning new things. I like to get in there, get it done, go, yes, I know it, I've done it, yes, I'm an expert, let me show everyone. And that's part of my human design, I guess, which is another tool to help you find out who you are. That's a conversation for another day. But I find it really hard, but some of the things that I enjoy doing, I am now really focusing on bringing them in and really trying to fine tune them so that I can really have that deep understanding and knowing of exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and how I can help others. Because my goal is to, you know, bridge people towards all these other ideas, modalities, techniques, tools, whatever it is. But I need to be in that place of pure understanding and knowing of where I am at right now, and making sure that I am in the highest knowing that I can be in that moment. And that does not mean being an expert in everything at once, but am I doing the most I can right now for this? Is this something that is going to expand me? Is this something that's helping me along my highest timeline? Is this something that's going to serve me? Is this something that I can use to help others? So that's the way that I look at it. So if I wanted to be a full-on medium and I wanted to help people talk to their loved ones who have crossed over and things like that, I could say, okay, that's what I feel like is my number one tool. That's what I feel like is really coming through, because all these souls are coming in. I can feel them. I can feel their presence. They keep talking to me. If I knew that's what I wanted to do, and that was one of the skills that I really wanted to hone into, then I would focus on that. I would find people who taught that, people who are actually already really good mediums. I would watch them. I would listen to them. I would research, and I would really try into doing all the things that you hear other people do. And then as we're doing that, we're going to find what ways work for us, and we're also practicing. And normally when you're honing onto maybe just one thing, all these other things start happening as well. So I have not deep dived into every single thing that comes in. I am focusing on doing the ones that feel the best for me in the moment, so that I can really sort of take them on and really become a master of doing things. Even though there is no master words, but just not mastering, being confident. That's a better word. Being confident in what you're sharing, what you're showing other people, if you are, or even just for yourself, knowing that you have that confidence to go, yes, I'm a medium, or yes, I have psychic skills. But then, of course, we all have all of these skills, so you could actually bring all of them in. You could bring them all quite lightly, where you have a little bit of psychicness. If you tune into it, yes, I can really tune into, you know, what I want over here, or I can really tune into, you know, what I want over here type thing, or couple it with other things, like with me, with the tree. Okay, well, what's that going to serve? Like, how does that help me or other people by knowing the personality of the tree type thing? And so it's not something that is at the forefront of the skills that I'm working on developing. However, I am finding that because of that skill now, I do have a deeper connection to more of the earthly collectives. Like, I was able to tap into the Argathans, which then led me more into connecting with rocks. And yes, you can do this, you can connect with anyone. So it's all sort of linked together and helping you work towards that full connection, because my ultimate goal is, even though I already am fully connected to everything, but I really want to have that confidence and that full solidification in, you know, good, strong connections with all aspects of myself in all areas, both above, below, and within. So whatever you're pulling in, whatever you're feeling, it's right. And honestly, if you need any help with any of it, ask me. I'd love to help you or lead you in the right direction. Now, what else have we got? Psychic attacks, tech, and protection, which are pretty much linked. So when we were talking about discernment before, and I was talking about distortion, distortion comes from those negative entities that we mentioned yesterday. They can distort information coming in. We can also get distortion from our own knowings, understandings, beliefs, codings, plugging into the grids. So that's why information may not come in. And with that distortion, with the negative energies, that is a thing. So we can think we're bringing in information if we're trying to connect to a collective, and we think that we're connecting to a certain collective, but it could be one which is more nefarious, who's coming in, and because we don't have that experience or knowing, we just believe that we are pulling in some channeled information or some higher self information, but it is actually from a collective that may not have our best intentions at heart. So practicing in that discernment really helps, and having that sounding board to bounce some of those things that are coming in will really help you getting into that groove to make sure that what's coming in is pure and from your highest intentive higher self, if that makes sense. But part of that is protection. Like, there are a lot of people who do a lot of the spiritual work who talk about protecting themselves. They have this full movement or scenario where they will build this huge cylinder up around them, or this big they'll have these things outside them for protection, or shield them in domes or bubble. There's so many different ways, but there's a lot. Oh no, you got to protect yourself from the baddies, you know, don't let anyone in. First of all, the problem is if you do that, if you already have things that are within your field that may not be so wonderful, you're locking them in. Second of all, if you're putting a big shield up around yourself, what happens when we give attention to something? So by putting a shield up, we're saying, I don't want any baddies to come in. What's that doing? That's attracting people to come in, isn't it? So that is something that is actually bringing more of it on, like I spoke about before, whether it's positive or negative. If you're bringing attention to it, you're bringing more of it to itself. Excuse me. So by doing this big whole shielding exercise, I don't believe is right for me, so it's not something that I do. I do, however, make sure that my field is strong, that I am fully in my soul self, that I am connected to this earth that we are living on as this human, that I am connected to the other aspects of my higher self, and I create my own, we all have them anyway, but I make sure my Taurus field is strong and full of my own energy. So instead of putting a field out, my energy is strong and firm. It is my confidence in knowing that my energy is sitting out here like this. I am in full power and control of my human self and my soul self. I am aware of things that are coming into me. So if I do feel something that doesn't feel good, and it's really easy with collectives or other entities or things that don't have our best intentions at heart, and we do feel or see or sense them coming in, it's pretty easy to get rid of them when we just ask them to leave, or you can tell them to fuck off. So you can do it nicely or meanly, but once your awareness knows that they're there and you tell them you're not interested, they will leave. It's not like the Dementors on Harry Potter where they're consistently trying to come in. So you can just easily ask them to leave and they will dissipate. But it's having your field strong and knowing you are fully present in yourself, having the intention and the belief, knowing that nothing is going to harm you, that you are always working towards, you know, your highest timeline and your best intentions, and surrounding yourself in this beautiful self. You're not protecting, you're just being yourself, and that's what you're portraying. You'll be able to keep a lot of that out. That does come with practice. That does come with a lot of clearing out all the crap, and I say this so many times because it really is the key to everything, and then being able to bring in more of your soul self so that you are feeling confident in being able to know that you're in that full connection, above, below, and within, and with everything else that's out there. Because some of those beings as well do install tech into us. It sounds weird, I know, but we're all energetic. Just because we can't physically see some sort of technical instrument in our bodies with our human eyes or human x-rays does not mean it doesn't exist. It can happen. I know. I actually have one in my elbow. It's been there for a while. I'm working on it. I don't think it's a really bad one. There are collectors and entities who do install tech into humans so that they can just track what we're doing, just out of curiosity. Of course, there are also more ones that aren't so just curious. They do want to put things in there to stop us from doing and achieving certain things, because don't forget, there are those people out there that don't want us to get out of our 3D. They don't want us to get into the 5D. They want us to stay stuck excuse me, in these 3D emotions, etc., and live these boring, sad, depressive, I hate my life type situations, which we're not doing. Especially if you're watching this, you are definitely not going to be one of them. But yes, tech is real. You can unplug, you can tune in, you can release it, you can get rid of it. There's so much to it. It can be attached to emotions, it can be attached to organs, it can be part of illnesses or diseases that you can have, it can be attached to beliefs, it can just come on like that, it can go just like that. There is so much, and the only way that you're going to know if it's there or not is being strong in yourself, being fully accepting of whatever is you're knowing. It's in the truth testing, in the excuse me, understanding of it all, so that you are going to be confident in saying, hey body, my back's hurting, you know, is there tech in there? And we're, yes, okay, how can I release it? And it is simple as that. There are ways that we can move it out. Sometimes it's been in there for a long time, especially if you're new on this journey. It could be attached and you need to remove this emotion or this scenario, but then it's attached over here, but it's attached to this, and then we got to do this and this. It's real, it happens. I know a lot of people who are really good at removing it. I've been able to remove some of my own, but I do know a lot of people who can really tune in and find it and get rid of it, and or even at least, you know, start digging through it. It's the same thing of working through our past, trying to get over here. We're going to get through all of this. It's the same thing with the tech. Excuse me, this coughing is annoying. And the last one is the psychic attacks. Holding your field strong to keep the baddies out is also good for holding back psychic attacks. A psychic attack is when it's when someone's not saying such nice things about you. So I have felt it. I do really make sure that my field is strong now, because I was getting really lax at doing it, and then I was feeling it. And psychic attacks, like, you can do them if you are there saying, oh my god, that bitch, like, I'm so sick of her posts, it's so annoying. You're sending her a psychic attack. You are hurting her. You are sending negative energy to her, and that's going to react to her in whatever way it reacts to her. People are doing that to you as well. It's not just people going, oh, I hate that Anna bitch, I hope she dies and falls over something. It's just going, ugh. You know, Not everyone likes you. Not everyone loves you. So there are ways that people can send these psychic attacks to us, and there's ways that you can do it to other people as well. So if there are situations or times where you have thought in a not positive way to certain people, I invite you to recall them all back and bring it all back to yourself, so that you don't have this negative energy out there, you know, possibly affecting people. Even if you don't like people or they irritate you in some way, first of all, you need to look at that and see why and see what you need to work on. And then if they, you know, if there's nothing more you can do there or something, you know, we're not going to be best friends with everyone. We don't need to like everyone. Try and remove them from your field. The other thing, of course, is to keep your field nice and strong and dense and tough and yeah, like that, so you can be really firm in who you are and really confident in who you're being. Now, I think we have covered everything I wanted to cover, which is great. His throat, I swear. See, this could be a psychic attack. But this is day 4 done. That means we only have 1 day left. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about some collectives, some of the ones that I've connected with. I'm going to talk about my light language. And I'm also going to speak more about how I see the universe as a whole. How I envision the universe and the way that it looks to me and presents itself to me. Even though I have mentioned it, we're just going to go real deep in it. And I will top it up with what things I have missed. I think there's a few things more I want to add in there, but we'll see. We'll see how we go tomorrow. But that'll be day 5. And today is day 4 of our fun. Unlocking the time capsule, if you're following that or if you haven't, and if you're watching the replay of this, it was 3 weeks of school fun because we're on school holidays. We're just doing fun stuff because fun stuff makes the other stuff so much more fun. Like, can't even tell you how much easier my life has been in the last week or so from just doing kid fun stuff. So today we are off on an adventure into our city. We're actually going to the State Library. There is a show on in there that we will go and check out. And then I don't think I've been to the State Library since I was a small child, so I think it's going to have a whole different feeling and funness to it now as an adult, because it's not just a school boring excursion. It's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to because we can go explore and look at stuff. And then who knows, we'll probably, I don't know, explore around the city and do things. If you're following along and you want something to do so that you can join in our fun today, I invite you to read a kid's book. Or if you don't read, find a book. Go read something. Or if you're a parent, go read one of your kids' books. I don't care if it's for 2-year-olds. Go and read it. Some of those books are awesome. Like, you think about all those kids' movies that are out there. Like, I swear to God, they're not for kids. They're for adults. I love them. They're so good. Yeah, just go get reading. Go exploring with words. Like, how magical are books? Like, I know we have so much TV, we have so many shows and so much in this online space, but words on paper hit differently. They give that whole new meaning to things, and it's even someone now who struggles with words because I have so many more feelings. So in a book, I find that the way that authors can write stories and engage us in the situation and set the scene sometimes, most of the time, just feels more alive and more real and brings us more into that moment than it does if we're watching, you know, a movie or a show on TV. So I invite you to get stuck into some books, not on Kindle, not on your phone, like an actual book on paper. Go find something to read. Go find a library. Go, not the newspaper. Go find an actual book. You can buy cheap books. You can go to those, I don't know if you all have those book depositories. We have a lot of those places around here where it's just free books and you read a book and you swap it out and costs nothing, you just swap it. It's fascinating. So go find a book. I'm sure everyone has a book somewhere. You have to have a book somewhere. If not, go find one. Because it's just going to open up that creativity mind that we already have. And part of our job as souls and humans is to be creation. We need to create, and we are creating imagery and scenes and emotions by reading a book. So I invite you all to go read a book. Anyway, I will catch you for the last day tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you then. Bye.